started with Tino and the guys, the leaders that had been there and been a part of the winning before that really laid that foundation. Like, no, this is about winning, and it's about going out there every day and not settling for anything less.
When he joined our team that year, I didn't know he was that good. I didn't know that he was that great of a third baseman. His range, his arm was incredible. I mean, he threw the strikes to first base every single time.
Welcome, everybody, to Like We Never Left, the show where we bring your favorite New York athletes and personalities back together, reunion style. I'm Sweeny Murti, and I'm joined now by a couple of stalwarts of the late 90s Yankees dynasty, Tino Martinez and Scott Brosius. Guys, I want to thank you for joining us. What's it like hanging out together kind of virtually for the first time in a really long time?
Well, I'll go first. It's great for me, though, because, I've seen quite a few of the guys over the years at different events in the stadium. And I hadn't seen Scott in a long time. So it's really cool to catch up with him today for the first time in a while and actually see him face to face.
Yeah, no question for me too. This is pretty cool. So, I hide away out in Oregon, and that's a long ways from any kind of real activity in this country. So, I've been tucked away and really had a chance to see too many guys at all.
You guys were both traded to the Yankees under different circumstances. Tino, I'll start with you. It's hard to imagine anybody having a better day in their entire life than you did the day you got traded to the New York Yankees. Now, let me get this straight. You got traded, you got a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract extension, and something else big happened that exact same day. What was that again?
Well, my third child was born on the same day, which was my daughter Victoria, but it was also my birthday as well, same day.
The trade actually happened when my family and I were down in Anaheim. We were at Disneyland. We were on vacation. And we had heard a lot of rumors that I was going to the Angels. And so I'm like, wow, if this happens here, this is perfect. I'm here. I don't even have to go anywhere. And so we came up from the swimming pool, and Jennifer was in the room already, and she was on the phone. And I walked in, and she just kind of looked at me and handed me the phone. And I'm like, whoa, this must have happened. And she goes, yeah, T, that's what we called my agent, Tony Atanasio. I said, T's on the phone. So I grabbed the phone and said, okay, it must have happened. Where am I going? And he starts singing, da, 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 da. He starts singing this song. And I think he's joking because all of our conversations were anywhere but New York, anywhere but New York. And, the Yankees were not. And I go, no, really, where am I going? And he keeps singing it, da, 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 da. And so I was like, which one? And he goes, you got traded to the Yankees.
I love that I got both of you guys here because it's fitting. When you talk about 1998, that World Series ended with a ground ball to third base. Scott Brosius fields it, throws it over Tino Martinez. I want to know if you can even attempt to describe what it feels like to be on your toes waiting for that last pitch to be hit. And it's hit right to you. Can you feel it in your gloves, Scott? Can you feel that moment when you close your eyes?
I don't even have to close my eyes. I can feel that exact play. I start to tingle already just thinking about it again. When I got traded over, Willie Randolph, third base coach, he worked with the infielders, and he would hit me ground balls every day. And from spring training on, when I came over to this team, and, my whole thought all the time was like, okay, my last ground ball every day was 2 outs in the World Series. I mean, literally, I would kind of say it out loud, let's go 2 outs, the World Series, last out of the World Series. And so when that ball came to me, it was almost like, no way, right? And so then I make the throw, and I look back later, I didn't even know it, but I'm kind of jumping around. I kind of joked that half of it was, I was just excited that I didn't airmail it because I was so pumped about the last ball, getting that last out, that I didn't throw it, 10 rows into the stands.
As you're going through and the winning continues, 98, 99, 2000, but there seemed to be some extra level of pressure in 2000. It seems silly when a team has won as much as you did, but you happen to be playing the Mets.
We certainly felt that a little bit in 2000 that we can't be the team that loses to the Mets. This is a World Series that we got to win.
I do remember, Mr. Steinbrenner saying in the newspaper publicly, if we don't win this World Series this year, it's like we never won the ones in the past. This is the most important one ever. I'm like, yeah, we know too,
Scott, you played right next to Derek Jeter for several years. What did you take away from that experience?
When I came in 98, he was just a couple years into his career. And in terms of just his leadership, in terms of his poise, all those type of things, he was just ahead of his years. I had a story, one of the first home series after the trade, 98 started the year, we're playing the Mariners, and Ken Griffey hits a pop-up to me in foul ground, and I boot it. I just clank it and drop it, make an error. And of course the crowd is go back to Oakland, get out of here, who are you, all these kind of things. So for about the next 2 or 3 weeks, G called me off of every single pop-up there was. And I would look over at him like, dude, are you going to let me catch a pop-up again or what? And he would just kind of smile and walk away. And he'd call me off balls that like I'm just standing right under, and which he has the right to do as a shortstop, right? And so, it just became kind of this ongoing thing. I'm like, dude, you're going to ever let me catch a ball again? So now this ball this one's hit, and it's one that's kind of maybe he should take it and maybe I should take it. I'm going back towards left field, and I'm calling it off like I'm always trying to, and I'm like, I don't hear him. Call it off. I'm like, I don't hear anything. I'm like, he's going to let me catch this. So just as I'm catching the ball, I can feel him just a few feet away from me, and just as I'm catching it, he goes, ah, and kind of like tries to scare me. And so I catch the ball, and I look at him, I'm like, dude, what are you serious? And he just kind of smiled and took the ball and threw it around. And so it was that kind of thing where, like I said, when he was on the field, it was always about winning. But he also enjoyed playing too, and I think you have to have that love for competition.
When you look at 2001, the run to the World Series that year might never have happened if it wasn't for the play that Derek Jeter made. We all know it was the flip play. You guys had 2 of the best seats in the house that day.
What people don't realize was when he flipped the ball, he flipped it to the only spot that he could have gotten tagged out at. If you look at the replay, if he'd thrown it up high and Jorge has to come down with it, he's safe.
This was a play that we had talked about. I mean, just in terms of positioning, like one time in spring training, you know what I mean? Like, okay, we're working double cuts and relays, and Tino's out there by first, but G is going to be in this area and read throws and kind of go over there. And in 4 years, this play happened one time, and he was there to make the play.
You blow through the Mariners in 5 games. And then comes the World Series in Arizona. Game 4, and you're about to go down 3-1, but Paul O'Neill's on base. Byung-Hyun Kim's on the mound. What do you remember?
So I watched him pitch to the guys. I went in the locker room, watched him pitch to the first 3 hitters, and he started everybody off with the first pitch fastball. And he was not just sidearm pitch, he was almost a submariner where it comes way down low, but sidearm. And none of us ever faced it before because we didn't play them during the season. And so I saw him throw first pitch fastball strike to every one of those guys. Then he went slider. And in my head, I just thought to myself, if I get up there, I'm going to look for a first pitch fastball and just try to hit it hard somewhere, put it in play, just, get a good bat going there. And so when Paul got on first there, I wasn't going up there thinking he'd hit a home run. I was thinking, I'm looking for first pitch fastball right there, get a good swing on it, hit a hard line drive somewhere and keep the rally going, get the next man up, whatever. And sure enough, he threw me a first pitch fastball right down the middle. And I hit it hard. I knew I hit it pretty good, but it's that part of the park I didn't know for sure if it was gone or not. It's like a low line drive type ball. And when it went out of the ballpark, it was like the stadium just erupted. And I was like, wow, it just freaked me out. We just tied the game right there. And here we go again.
Tino hits the home run, and we're in an outdoor stadium, and you can feel the place shaking. I mean, I've never heard of that before or felt that, like an actual feeling like the place is vibrating, and of course G does his thing, and it's just crazy.
Scott, was there an advantage then when you look at the next night? You're in the same position. You're down to your last out, but you faced Byung-Hyun Kim twice the night before. Yeah. And you watched them throw 61 pitches against you. Was there any sort of advantage to having seen all that one night earlier?
100%. 100%. Watching the at-bats, everybody's at-bats, getting to see him twice. I mean, from the right-handed side, it's a different angle. It's definitely even from, the left side, but for a righty kind of seeing the ball come basically off the ground and just trying to see it out of his hands. I hit it in a place, obviously, when you pull it in the stadium and you hit it good, it's going to go. The thing that I remember running around the bases more than anything else after I got the first and I'm running between first and second was I was thinking about Tino's swing yesterday. I'm like, no way did that just happen again. I mean, that literally was going through my head, was like, no way did that just happen again.
So when I'm sitting by Bernie, And when Scott's up there and he hammered it, you know, usually you go like, yeah, you jump out of the dugout or whatever. I swear, Bernie and I just looked at each other like that. Like, we could, like, again? We just, like, looked at each other like, wow. And then we just went crazy.
Scott, the emotion of the last 2 months leading up to that, is there any way to, I mean, you know, any way to describe what that whole ride was like?
9/11 happens and you know, we're not playing for a while, and when they made the decision for us to, you know, for baseball to resume, you're kind of asking the question, like, what are we doing? You know, like, why, with everything going on that's so important, so much bigger than this, why are we playing? But it didn't take long to understand just the importance of what it meant to start playing again, kind of get back to, if you want to call that, get back to normal, give the fans in New York, give people just, you know, a few hours to just enjoy and forget about some of these other things. And so coming to the park was so ultra emotional because, you know, throughout the end of the regular season, the playoffs, I mean, you're just going through this gamut. You're meeting, you know, the son of the pilot, for example, or something like that, the family of the pilot, that one of the pilots that went down. And so you're crying before the game, and then you're getting yourself, you know, you're emotional and you're getting yourself geared up to play. And then after the game, you meet somebody else, and it just kind of breaks you a little bit again. And so it was really this huge emotional roller coaster of trying to stay, you know, kind of in the moment during the game, but just you're meeting people that have been so affected by it. It was pretty tough.
I think everybody agrees that politics was not a part of the equation when George Bush goes to the mound and throws the most perfect strike we've ever seen. Tino, that was a moment that everybody just seemed to kind of rally around.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, you know, he went out there with a bulletproof vest on, a big jacket over, a Yankee jacket, the World Series jacket on, and under all that was probably a lot of pressure on him that you could ever imagine, to at least just make it, you know, throw the ball in the air to home plate, much less throw a perfect strike that really made the crowd erupt more than we ever thought would for a first pitch.
Alfonso Soriano hits a home run in the 9th inning of Game 7, and Mariano Rivera is coming out to the mound with a lead in the 9th inning. Tino, what does it feel like when your old buddy, I want to show you this, Tino and Scott. This is from a little bit before 2001. This is what Tino Martinez and Luis Gonzalez looked like back in the day.
That's all high school right there.
Wow.
That's Jefferson High in Tampa. And you fast forward a little while later, here they are. They are playing in the World Series, and one of them is about to beat the other. What does it feel like when you're both on the infield, 90 feet away, and watching that ball float into center field to finish it off?
Terrible feeling. It was a terrible feeling. I don't care who my buddy is. You know, the whole way the inning unfolded, basically, you know, that's the kind of team they had. They put the ball in play. They didn't strike out. You know, if Mariano would have struck out 1, 2, 3, it'd have been easy. But they started. The thing about playing behind Mariano is, as dominant as he is, he's hard to defend. We're hard to play defense with him because everything is hit so softly. A slow roller to second base is a base hit because the second baseman's too far back, and there's all jam shots and jam pop-ups and whatnot. So it's not like you really pick a spot where you're comfortable when he's up there when he's pitching to play defense on. So once it started unfolding, I'm going, oh man, you know. When Lewis came up to bat, you know, I knew he was going to put the ball in play. I didn't know if this would be a base hit, a ground ball to me, or ground ball to short. He's going to make contact because he's a contact hitter as well as a power hitter. So, you know, everybody kind of criticized Joe Torre a little bit for playing the infield in, but he did the right thing, though, because the infield back, besides that blooper there, a slow ground ball to short, the guy's safe at first base, on a double play every time. He just doesn't hit the ball hard enough. So when he hit the ball over Derek's head, I went, oh my God. First and foremost, I thought we just lost this whole thing. And I was crushed inside. And then he ran right by me. I'm going, oh man, you know, kind of, what's he feeling like? So I started thinking about him. What does he feel like right now? You know, what a great feeling for him and whatnot. But as terrible as I felt for our team and for the New York City and all that stuff, I felt, you know, good. He's a great guy. I grew up with him, and I thought, wow, what a moment for him. And I'm sure he's going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I didn't really have the feeling good for anybody else kind of moment. You know, it's a terrible feeling. I mean, I will say that when it was all said and done, I mean, if we had to lose to a team, just did what they needed to do to win the game. And so you have to tip your cap, but it's a crushing feeling.
I'm curious if you guys have seen the parallels to the world we're living in now, where life has been turned upside down for everybody, and they're turning to sports to serve as some sort of distraction, have some sort of healing power. Tino, can you relate that to what you guys went through in 2001?
You know, we're living our daily lives, doing what we're supposed to do, and quarantine and that kind of stuff. And but you wanted something to watch, a baseball game, a basketball game, anything to like give us hope. You know, give us some kind of hope that, okay, we're back to normal, sort of. We're getting back to normal. And it took a while to get there. And I think the whole country, I know I was, and my families were, they're all excited about anything getting back on TV, especially baseball. So, you know, those guys out there now, they're playing hard and giving us a little bit of hope that things are getting back to normal slowly but surely. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Once we started playing again at the end of that season, you know, we realized how different things were. We had, you know, we're getting on a plane and there's armed, you know, soldiers protecting the plane. And you start asking questions, for example, like, you know, are we in danger being at a stadium? In the back of your mind, you realize, you know, you don't know how safe you really are. And I think the players are doing the same thing for us right now. The players, coaches, the traveling parties are out there kind of during this pandemic, and they're putting themselves at risk a little bit to offer the game and offer us this opportunity to, like you said, get something back. You know, we've lost so much during this, having to stay home. Having the ability to watch, you know, the best athletes in the world compete again is, you know, valuable. And so, but we also know that they're doing it at a presumed risk. So really appreciate what those guys are doing right now.
Guys, I want to thank both of you for taking us down memory lane a little bit here and making us all feel like we never left. Tino, Scott, thanks for joining us. I hope you guys all stay safe, and I hope we get a chance to do this again sometime, maybe in person.